Hey everybody, this is Erik Brown, your Beverly Hills and Los Angeles real estate agent, bringing you the best of LA, where I share really great local businesses and how you can connect with them. And I've got a really cool treat today. We're here with my friend Larry Scherzer, who founded Sherzer International. And what does that mean? We're going to find all about it today. So Larry, thank you for chatting with me.
Well, thank you, Erik, for inviting me.
Absolutely. So why don't you start off with the $10,000 question of what is Sherzer International?
So Sherzer International does character check reports for businesses. And we break that down to specific areas. So one of them, which is pretty unusual, is we check out the character of prospective clients for accounting firms throughout the world before they take them on as clients. And we do employment screening of employee candidates before they're hired. And lastly, we do business background checks in connection with venture capital investments, private equity investments, merger and acquisition transactions, or any kind of, or lending.
I have to confess, I'm always curious in the origin story of a business. So what got you started?
So I had always wanted to be in business. I spent 3 years looking around to buy a business, and I found the major problem was most of them involved some sort of mechanical skills of which I have none. So I decided to do something in an area of professional services. And one day I was talking to somebody and I said, wow, that's the basis for a business idea. And I worked on that, hired somebody who was going for their MBA, and we spent about a year and a half coming up with this idea.
I love it. And so you've probably seen in your years of having been in business some changes, not only in trends, in technology, things that just happen in your world. Can you talk about what you've seen over the past several years or decades that you've been in business with the company?
Well, we started the business when there was no Windows, which was a big change. And we also started the business when there were not as many databases available and public information. So that started what I would call the technology revolution. And once the internet became big, it opened a whole world of information available so that firms like us can do background checks and character checks just using a computer screen as the starting point.
That's great. And so you and I were talking off camera at one point. For those of you that are maybe unfamiliar with the concept of the business, I always love to be able to ask a great question of, can you tell us a great story of a client that you've worked with?
We did a background check on FTX, which was a major cyber failure, and people originally going to lose billions. I think they recovered their money. And there was one piece of negative information out there involving a lawsuit. And I was surprised that people did not pay attention to that lawsuit because it was former employees suing Sam Bankman-Fried about some of his actions. And they should have taken a look at that and paused and said, what's the implications of that? How many employees sue their former employer for, in effect, bad business practices?
You know, this segues really well into a great kind of natural question of, I've always been a believer of good process makes good business. And so as you've continued with clientele, you continue to establish better processes, better best practices. And so for those accounting firms or law firms or prospective clients that are watching, what is your process like? So they say that they would want to engage. What happens next?
So we agree upon what we call a search strategy, which is what information we're going to look at. And then we do either comb through databases available online or send people to courthouses, get all that information, assemble it, review it, We have a great stress on accuracy. We also have a great stress on making sure that that report is in compliance with all local, state, federal laws, and present it and summarize our findings. The key here, I think, is one, that the report is compliant with all state, federal, and international laws. And the second of all is that the report is factually correct, that you can believe what is said. And that if you say something about XYZ, it's not XYZ who is a different person than the person you're asking us to do. Erik, you'd be a perfect example. Brown, how many Browns are there in the world? And it would be terrible if we wrote a report about you and it had you confused with somebody else who had a criminal record, who had a bad record as a real estate broker and so forth, and you were blamed unfairly. And our job is to make sure we've identified the right person.
That's a great point. I appreciate you sharing that. Now, for anyone that's watching, as I mentioned, if you have any questions you want to find out about business systems, service, a la carte practices, fee structure, etc., we're going to include Larry's contact information here for all of Sherzer International. I always love to ask Larry, as kind of a wrap-up, if there's something to the viewer audience that you think that they need to know about your organization or things that you're seeing in the marketplace, what might that be?
Two things. One, you can look at our website, which I think shows the quality of our work and our dedication and the customer experience. And the other is, if you're going to go through a business transaction, character does count. You should not go do business with anybody whose character is unworthy.
I appreciate that. You could probably tell Larry and I could go off for a while and chat a bit, but this is a great spot for us to say thank you for watching. Again, here is all of Sherzer International's contact information on screen. If you have any questions, I encourage you to connect with them for any of your needs as related to their business. Until then, this is Larry and Erik signing off.